Okay, and we're on. Awesome. Alright, well, I think I'm just going to get straight into painting today. And common misconception that a lot of people think when I say the word painting is that when I'm using pastels, that it's not a painting. It's more like a drawing, but pastels are pigment, and pastels are also considered a painting once they're on a canvas. So it's kind of like chalk drawing. But yeah, little fact, even if something is a chalk drawing on a canvas like this, it's still considered a painting. And I actually use a technique to make my work look like paint strokes, and I'll go through that later on in the video. Just quickly, I wanted to touch on the colors that I want to use today, which are these guys here. I'll bring it in a little bit closer so you can see. See if that'll focus for you. There we go. So I've got like an egg yolk yellow, a umber color, sky blue, a deep green, got this red, and I wanted to try working with pure white, and I wanted to bring some vibrant, summer, earthy, beachy colors in, and today has been a very what kind of day has it been today? It's been an interesting day. And I wanted to paint something that represented my emotions from today, and how I was feeling as well. And with a lot of my art, I just tend to go for a feeling over a lot of other stuff, and I might not draw a real image like a face or a scenic thing a lot of the time. Sometimes I'll just go with how I'm feeling at the time, and today I was feeling very, what's the word for it? Tender is probably the best word that I would use today, because when I was at work, I didn't exactly wake up feeling very positive, and I love to start the day in a very positive way, but for some reason today just didn't happen, and that feeling kind of stuck with me today. And so yeah, I kind of want to capture an emotion more than anything out of this, and just gonna see how we go. And light blue to me is, and to a lot of people, is a very like it's like a baby sort of color, and a lot of people associate blue with you know, like a baby boy most of the time, in Western culture a lot, and a lot of my clients do as well. They when I present this color to them, it is often a child, infant sort of color. And other people, I've had people tell me it represents the beach, like a really beautiful summer day. And you never know what someone's association is to a color. And for me, I really love discovering what color means to different people, because it's we put our own fingerprints on color, and we attach stories and we attach events to particular colors. And when we are immersed in a particular color, we can trigger emotions. And our emotions are probably one of the most powerful things about us. Our emotions guide us, they move us, they warn us, they tell us what's safe and what's not safe. And we learn from them too, and we can use emotions to really shape where we go with our lives. And what I love doing is teaching people to find and question themselves about what color means to them, and finding out what different colors mean to you can result in you discovering more about yourself. And when you know more about yourself and you have clarity about what fires, well, you know, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad, and what colors you can use to work on certain traits about yourself. You can really use color to change your mood and alter the state you're in, which is why I really, really love color therapy. And a lot of my clients, you know, when they're not feeling so great, they'll be like, hey, Mike, like, I'm not feeling great, what should I do? What colors should I use? We'll go through their profile, and their profile will tell me straight up, oh, you know, this color makes you feel happy, or that color makes you feel fired up or confident. And it's as easy as going through this list with them, and finding out what colors to use. And then once we have that emotional palette, we build a space for them using those particular colors. Ooh. And that's one of the really cool things about the particular thing that I do with color therapy, is that I really love delving into someone's mind and helping them discover what color is to them. And it's just it's an amazing experience getting, and it's kind of, it's a really feel almost honored to be able to, for someone to allow me inside their mind, and, you know, for them to be able to trust me so that I can help them, you know, grow, you know. And it's quite an interesting experience. And one of my favorite things is exploring the mind. And I guess that's why I do what I do, and why I love color as well, because it is such a great tool to explore yourself. And, you know, when I'm not feeling my best, I'll often use bright, happy colors if I know that I need to cheer myself up. And just being in a particular color alone puts me in an emotional vibration where I'm like, I can take on the world now. I feel really, really good. One of my other favorite things to do is, with a new pastel, is snap it. That's my favorite thing. I absolutely love it. Here we go. Let's start filling in some color here. Let's bring some. So I'm not doing anything particular, but here I'm just kind of just feeling where I want the colors to go. I'm not too fussy when it comes to color. I just love being able to have color in, you know, a way that's lets me express myself. I think that's the cool thing about being creative and just, you know, slapping paint or pigment on something is that it really is a way for you to just let go in, you know, a sense of the word, is just to, you know, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, it's just you doing what you feel like. And for me, that's what art is about. It's about feeling. I love, when I first started using, when I first discovered, I should say, when I discovered pastels for the first time, I'd gone through lots of different mediums. I'd gone through oil paints, acrylic paints, you name it, watercolor, gouache, and it was like kind of find like a medium that made me feel something. And for me, pastels just, they're so vibrant and they can do things that other mediums can't do, and I feel like they give me a really good sense of control, and I think that's why I really love pastels, is the sense of control that they give me. And I don't know, maybe it's the tactile approach to pastels or something, but I really love pastels, and that's why I chose to start using pastels as an artist. And this yellow, you know, it's already, just being in the presence of this yellow, it's already giving me really awesome vibes. And I love geometry is another one of my favorite things. I love connecting shapes together, creating just a, you know, it's like I feel like I'm making something out of nothing when I'm using shapes, and basic shapes and circles and triangles and squares. Like I just get this sense of connection out of them, and can't always explain why, but for me, I just love, I really love shapes. Shapes are fantastic, and I can't explain why, but to me, shapes are everything. I really love circles the most, I would say. And I think when you let go in a painting and you're not trying to impress anyone, like you're not trying to create a painting that's going to get the attention from everyone, or and you're just happy doing what you want to do, that's when, like, really good, for me, that's what I consider, that's when I've done like my best work, is when I feel like I've gotten an emotion out and I've just done what I want to do, and it feels good too to be able to just do something and be proud of it and not care what anyone else thinks. And yeah, I think that's what, and trying new things too, like not being afraid to step out of your boundaries. Snap. Oh, that one was already broken. Oh well. But yeah, like stepping out of your comfort zone. So many people, when they ask me, hey, what do you do? Like, you know, I've got a regular job at the moment, but, you know, in my spare time, I'm an artist, and, you know, the first thing that people, it's almost like people love to tell me that they can't draw, or they're not creative. And the amount of times that I hear it, it's like people being, it's like hearing people who are just defeated already, like they don't, it's like they haven't even tried, or they've been told that they were, maybe as a kid or something, they did something that they were really proud of, and maybe it was artistic, and then someone might have said, oh, that's not the best work, and so they believed that everything they do is not the best work. Or sometimes you compare yourself to other people. Comparing yourself to other people can really drag your creative spirit down too. And painting isn't the only thing that is creative. Another thing that a lot of people say is, you know, I'm not creative. And when you say that you're an artist, and creativity isn't just about painting, and it's not just about, you know, being able to draw and stuff like that. People create so many things. Like, people create buildings, they create lifestyles, they create, you know, everything. Everything that we have and that we've built is through creation. And sometimes it's like, when I hear people say that they're not creative, it's like they believe a lie they've been telling themselves for many, many years. And I don't always understand why they would say it, but I always make it my mission to tell people that, you know, you are creative in your own way. You have your own creativity, and you might not realize it, but you are a creative person. Yeah, that's looking really cool. I'm pretty happy with that so far. Alright, where are we? Let's do some red. Why not? What color is this? Spectrum red. So, the only thing I don't like is when the pastel is already broken. I don't get the satisfaction of breaking it myself. But yeah, so here we go. Let's just chuck some red in. Red to me, I don't know what red might mean to you, but red to me is such an energy color. To me, it means confidence. And it's always been that for me. Like, and it's a fire color. Like, it's a color that really, really boosts my mood when I need a special something to lift me up. And red has always been there for me when I'm not feeling confident. And I remember the first time I decided to buy just a plain old red shirt, because I was learning through my clients the different meanings of red and what they thought red meant and what their impressions were, and some of the things that they were saying kind of stuck to me, and the positive things, I should say. And so I decided one day to go to the shops, and I wasn't feeling 100%, and I went, you know what, bugger it, I'm just going to go get a red shirt. And I put the red shirt on, felt really good, and then I just kept it on for the rest of the day and was walking through the shops wearing my bright red shirt, and it just felt amazing. And if you're not always feeling confident in yourself, I would totally encourage you to seek out a color that gives you confidence and wear it and see how it makes you feel. And sometimes that color that you need, believe it or not, is the color that you don't like, because you've had a bad experience with it. And a bad experience I had once was with the color gold, and that's a really triggering color for a lot of people. Gold is often, you know, like, it's the opulent color. It's the color of success and wealth, and a lot of people associate gold with, you know, the bad kind of rich person. The people who, you know, quote unquote, run the world and all of that. And because they attach those stories to the color, instead of using it as an empowering color, they're using it as a disempowering color. And gold is such a vibrationally strong color. It's one of the most, it's a color that has the most vibration in it because it's just so strong and it's so polarizing. And it's kind of like the color where you choose what side of the fence you're on. You're either with gold or you're against gold. And I've found that the people who embrace gold as a color generally start attracting some really good things into their lives. And it took some time for me to accept gold as a color into my life because I had a lot of attachments to that color as a kid that I didn't like. And in my adult life, anyone wearing gold or just that color in general, it automatically made me see a particular person wearing that color in a certain way. And so I made a conscious decision to start introducing gold into my life and choosing to accept that it does really good things for you, and it attracts really good things into your life, and it makes you feel powerful, and it makes you feel wealthy. And when I started embracing that into my art and into my life, things started changing. I started feeling good. I started acting as though I had the good things that I wanted, and psychologically it, you know, my mind shifted. So the I don't know if I've got a point, but I guess what I'm saying is I would, you know, go find those colors that you don't like and think about why you don't like them. And, you know, give those colors a chance. The colors themselves haven't done anything. It's what you've attached to those colors. And maybe you could start attaching and finding new meanings to some colors and changing the way that you think so that you can change the way you feel. And you can use color to, you know, really help you out. Ooh. I keep dropping my... You know, I'll drop my pastels quite frequently, so that's probably something you'll have to get used to. Let's start filling this guy in. How is that looking? Yeah, that's looking cool. I think I want that. I want that. No, I want that's so. Get that colour back in again. A lot of people tell me that my paintings look like a universe, or, you know, outer space. And I love hearing that because my paintings are a reflection of the universe that's inside me. It's what's inside my mind and what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. And it's almost as if when I'm doing a painting, I'm putting, I get to show people what's going on and the feelings that are attached, and people can interpret, whatever they want out of what they see. And I think that's the beauty of being the way that we are, is we get to think and we get to feel. And I think that's what's really cool about art too, in all of its forms, is that you get to decide what it means. And the artist, when they create something, I know for me, a lot of my work, once it's done, oh, that felt good snapping that one, is like, it kind of takes on a life of its own once it's done. And it's always so interesting to kind of hear what people have to say and what they think and their interpretations. And it's such a gateway into who we are. You're exposed to just a bunch of color and it means something, but it means something different. It's like you go to a museum and you look at something that you can't take your eyes off it and you don't know why, but the more you sit with it, you start to feel something. And then when you're done, you're like, it's almost having like an out-of-body experience almost sometimes. But you have an attachment, and you might tell someone, I felt really, that painting, it made me feel something. It made me feel like a sense of, like, it made me feel sad, and I don't know why. And a lot of the time when you don't know why, it's because you haven't explored yourself enough to figure out why it feels a certain way. And I think that's what I love about color therapy, is you explore the meanings of color and you explore the different aspects of feeling attached to those colors. And once you've explored those things, it's like you can see the world in a completely different way. And for a lot of my clients, oh my God, some of the stories they tell me after we've worked together are, they'll send me photos of things that they've seen, or just colors that have opened their world up. And the colors that they send me are just absolutely incredible, and the stories attached to colors, you wouldn't... I wish I had have recorded some of the sessions. Might have to, if I get some more clients in color therapy, I'll definitely record them, and I'll obviously ask their permission to record it, because every single person has this one incredible story, and it's as though a color just is a huge part of that story. And if it's a really positive story, we incorporate those colors into their lives more than what they used to. And it's like they allow that happiness back into their lives again. And things just change, and it really is. It's incredible watching my clients transform. And often I haven't done a lot. I've just kind of helped them explore things and explore themselves, and really help them realize what they've got going on inside. Oh, got my cat down there. I can hear a bell. If I pat my cat, she's gonna look like a rainbow. This happens every time she comes in and I'm painting. She will soak up all the pigment into her fur coat. And she will look like she's been dunked in a can of paint. It's hilarious. You sweetheart. really love this red. I'm gonna have to buy a lot more red. Sweet. I'm really digging this. Lighten up some of this. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm just eyeballing some blank sort of spaces and filling in things and kind of giving it some dimension now. Alright, let's do that. Okay, yeah, that's looking really cool. I really like that. I think what it needs... Oh, okay, now I see what it needs. So we're going to put that... I'm going to start putting everything together. Yeah, so circles. I don't know what it is about them. I really don't. I have to wonder, you know, like, you've got things like color therapy and art therapy and all these amazing kinds of exploration tools that we have. I wonder if there's like shape therapy. It's probably not. You know what people think about shapes. I don't know if that could ever be a thing. Yeah, I love it when my paintings start to really come out like this, and you know, to me, like on a conscious level, this really doesn't it's kind of like painting a dream almost. You can't always, I can't always put a like a meaning on everything that I do. I can't always explain the different reasons why, but I can very much tell you a feeling when it comes to painting and how I was feeling at the time when I was, you know, expressing myself and doing stuff. And when you figure out what you're feeling when you're doing something and you're creating something, you tends to explain itself more, I guess, and it means something to you. It doesn't have to mean anything to anyone else, and it doesn't have to be a reason, like, because I think that's what gives you so much freedom in creativity, is that it doesn't have to, you don't have to explain yourself. And I think that's what I love about creating, is that I just did it because I wanted to, you know, and you know, often, especially when a lot of people like to criticize, and they like to judge, and they like to tell other people that they're right and that you're wrong or whatever. But when it comes to art and creativity, there's no such thing as right or wrong. And there's so much power in that alone. There is no there's no real, you know, that's cool. Now we're getting somewhere. Awesome. Alright. I think I want to fill in that a bit more. I'm just gonna, like, I'm seeing some blank spaces on the canvas, so I'm just making sure that I'm filling them in before I move on to the next part. So I'm going to clip back a bit. Sweet. Alright. So the next part of what I do in my paintings is I really like to mix around with different things, and a really cool method that I like to do is I'll get turpentine, just your regular brand artist turpentine. I think there are different kinds of turpentine, and if you're going to do this and you're going to follow along with what I'm doing, do use artist turpentine, don't use regular turpentine, because they are different, and I think regular turpentine will melt what you're doing. I do know that it's not recommended to use a different kind of terp. So what I do is I actually get like a brush, and this is when I was saying earlier about how I make my paintings look as though they're painted, is I grab a brush and turpentine and I start brushing the terps onto the pastel, and it looks like I'm, you know, it might look at first that I'm removing the pigment, but it's just wet is all it is. And what it's doing is it's blending the pastel pigment into the canvas that I've got. And the canvas that I've got is a paper canvas, and it's got a special kind of it's kind of like, it's a special kind of paint that they use to affix or to help the pigment grip the canvas, because pastels don't grip to every surface. They won't grip to a regular canvas. You do need a special kind of canvas for pastels. So it's almost like sandpaper is what the canvas is. Like when you rub your finger on it, it is like fine grit. And before I was doing this method that I'm doing now, I was actually using my fingers to blend the pigment into this kind of canvas, and I actually rubbed a hole into my fingertips, and it hurt like hell. So just, you know, pro tip, don't use a blending tool if you don't want to use your fingers, or if you don't want to do this method, so you don't, you know, screw your fingers up. Let's bring that back into focus. Come on, back into focus, camera. Is that not going into focus? Come on, it's gone out of focus. There we go. couldn't tell you what kind of style my paintings are. I'd like to say they're unique to me. In art class when I was a kid, you know, they always used to tell me that theory is actually the most important part about art, and I always hated theory. Theory to me was not the reason that I joined art class. Art class to me was so I could paint and express myself, and every time we had to do assignments, my school would make it that you had to do the theory, and the theory was the major part of your marks and your grades at the end of the year. So you really had to learn stuff about different artists and different methods and whatnot. And to be honest, I've forgotten most of that, because to me, I love influence and using what I see to influence my style and stuff, but you know, I just like doing things my own way, and I've found that there's so much more satisfaction in just doing what I do and not thinking to myself, oh, this looks like a Picasso, or this looks like a Rembrandt, or you know, or a Van Gogh or whatever. I like to think that what I do looks like a Mike Posadas painting. And that's kind of what it's not even like I'm aiming for that, but it's the feeling, you know, if I feel like I've expressed myself and I'm happy with what I've done, then that's enough. You know, what I've done is enough. I don't need to compare myself to anyone, and at the end of the day, I think that's what everyone should be doing when it comes to whatever it is that they're creating, is that just make sure that you're happy with what you're doing. So you may see as I'm doing this that it's starting to dry up in here, and the colours, even though the ones that I'm going over now are dark, because they're wet, as they dry they'll start to brighten up a bit more and the colour will come back. But what I'm doing, and what this does with the terps and the pigment, is when it dries, it looks like an oil painting, or you know, any kind of painting done with a brush, which is kind of what it is. It's I set the foundation with the colour, and then I go in with my brush and my terps after to finish it off. There. That yellow and red combination. It reminds me of a peach, like a really juicy, ripe peach. Peaches and fruit in general are some of my favorite things. I think fruit is a very polarizing thing too. So many people are like, I don't like fruit, or I don't like this particular fruit. And to me, I'm like, why? I'm like, what have you got against this? It's delicious. It's sugary and filled with goodness. And I don't know, have you ever experienced that? Or maybe you're not a fruit person? Oh, shit, don't want to upset any people who don't like fruit. But yeah, like, fruit's amazing. God, fruit. I love fruit. I love peaches. Peaches are so delicious and juicy. Nice. So where are we? Okay. We're up to the face. So let's get this guy started, shall we? Let's start with the forehead. It's coming down here. Let's do the nose. I'm trying to think where I saw this method, because I remember I saw someone using this method, and for the life of me I can't remember where I saw it, but I really love this way of painting, and I love experimenting with different ways to paint as well. And one of the really good ways to experiment is to get yourself like an art book, a blank art book, and just take inspiration from everything that you can see and put it into your art book, and use different mediums, like put oil paint in there, use sticks and twigs and glues and pastels and acrylics or nail polish or, you know, metal, ink, and find something that feels good to use. And once you find your special thing that makes you feel really awesome when you do it, that's what you should focus on when it comes to creating something. And I think that's probably true for a lot of different things, not just painting, but in life, you know. Finding the thing that you want to do, or the thing that you want to create, you know, experiment, go out, have a good time and see what you like and build your preferences. Yes, you can see like up here it's starting to, the colour's starting to come back out now because it's drying. Nice. Alright, so now I'm going to just start on the background. I'm just doing quick board strokes here. Just kind of following the colour. So I'm following the green mostly, and then when it starts hitting and running out of green, then I'll start blending in the red and the brown, the umber colours. And what that does, so I'll start here again, so I'm going to the green, running out of the green here, so I'll start bringing in the red. When this dries, it will look as though I've painted these colours together, which I've kind of mostly just slapped them on the canvas and then you know, it's not a very traditional way of painting. But it makes me feel good when I do it this way. It's very cathartic and it gives me time to think. And I think the other cool thing about painting and creating is you get in a zone in your head where you're not thinking about anything. You're just kind of doing something. And it's almost as if you're giving your mind a bit of a break, you know? And when you're just letting, it's like letting go is the best way to kind of explain what it feels like to be in this state. Is it's like a complete surrender to creativeness. You know, it's like saying, well, I'm done with the day, or I'm done doing what I normally do. I'm gonna sit down and create something. And it is almost as though something else kind of takes over, like that part of you, that subconscious part of you that does want to express itself, that kind of want to lets you know what's happening and how it's feeling. You give it that space to express itself. And you know, sometimes for me, when I look back at a painting, I'll think to myself, I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing this. I really don't know what I was thinking. And then maybe a week or two later, I'll be like, oh, now I know why I painted that. Now I can see why the painting has those colors and those shapes and why it looks a certain way and how it feels a certain way. Because sometimes too, when you're painting, and it is like you turn on the zone, you get in the zone, and that subconscious part of you takes over. Your conscious mind is on a complete break. It's taking time off. And the subconscious mind, the marvelous thing about the subconscious mind is that it's the real, you know, conductor. And the conscious mind very much is not in control. And that's what a lot of people think, that they are in control of their life. And unconsciously, it's your beliefs and the patterns and the things in your life that you've created and the things that you've been exposed to, the things that you love and the preferences that you've built over the years. They are what set the course for your life and for the way that you act and the things that you do and the places that you go and everything. And in a space of creation like this, even though consciously I'm talking about what it is that I'm doing and how it is that I'm feeling, there's a subconscious autopilot going on here. And the autopilot has chosen these colors and has decided to paint this particular way. And when it's done and when it's, you know, I'll be able to take a step back from this painting and then I'll be able to start analysing it more and wake up to what it is that's really going on and what I'm really trying to say here. And, you know, for me, it might be the layout of the circles or the face in the center or the colors being a little bit sporadic. You know, it might be my subconscious mind trying to tell me that, you know, that I'm in a space at the moment where maybe things are a little bit erratic, and maybe there's a lot of polarizing things happening, because I've got, you know, all these shapes that are opposite each other and they're varied and different colors and whatever. So, you know, it's hard to explain exactly what this means, if this has a meaning at all, at first glance, while I'm painting too, because I tell people that you know, my art is emotional, which it is. It's very emotional, and don't always know what it is that my heart is trying to tell me all the time, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to just let it sink in, and but I think the important thing is that I'm allowing myself and I'm allowing my heart to express itself. It's letting, to me, this is me allowing another part of myself to speak and to talk. And I don't think a lot of people give themselves, or that part of themselves, a lot of time. They don't give themselves that time of day. And sometimes that part of us that just really wants to express itself, it's like you keep it in a cage and you don't let it, you know, you don't let it out. And so it's like sometimes you feel bad and you don't know why. It's like, you know, we put ourselves in cages, you know, and all we have to do sometimes is just, you know, give yourself the opportunity to express yourself. I'm really, really enjoying this painting. I'm really, really happy with how it's looking. It's not even done yet either. Hooray. Plenty of time left. So, for anyone who's watching this, this is also my first painting for YouTube. Pretty excited about that. I think this is pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked, actually. This is like this is the ground zero of paintings for me. So I'm very, very excited to share this with the world, and yeah, very happy. We haven't had great weather in Brisbane either lately. Well, it's been kind of all over the place. We've had some amazing, amazing, amazing days where the sky is just, there's no words to explain sometimes. When I look up at the sky and I see the clouds and the blue, and it's mesmerizing and it's captivating and it's magical and it's such a gift. How many times do we just look up at the sky and go, man, how lucky am I? How lucky are we to be able to experience beautiful days? You know, sometimes I wonder, you know, about everything, and there's just so much going on in the world and the universe, and I'm gonna change hands. You know, and there's so much going on, and it's like, the universe is so big, and we're so lucky to really be alive. You know, there's so much going on. It's mind-boggling. And one of the best things I ever did, if you followed my vlog, I quit Facebook last week, and it was the best decision I ever made. Even though it was emotional and very, very difficult, best decision I ever made, I tell you. It's like letting go of a bad relationship. It's really like letting go of someone who is clingy, who always wants your attention. And it's just the best thing ever. And it really does kind of open your eyes to the world around you again, because the distractions are gone. Like, you're not on your phone or on the computer looking at other people's lives and going, oh wow, they're doing amazing things, or God, I wish I was doing stuff like that. You know, and even though being connected to people 24/7 has its benefits, it also has its cons. And it got to a point to me where I'm like, there's just too many cons now. There's too much going on. There's so much I don't want to be a part of. And for some reason, I just kind of clicked and went, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm out. I am out. And I'm not coming back to social media, to Facebook. All right, sweet. So let me just clean that brush off. All right. So you'll see that where I started, the color is returned. The brightness has come back, and it doesn't take too long for that to happen. And it now, instead of it looking like I'm throwing chalk onto a board, it's starting to look more like paint strokes, which is exactly what's happened. But it's not paint, it's still pastel, and it's taking on more of a painted feeling now as well. So what I've got some other colours here, and I'm just going to do some highlighting. This is where I use my fingers, it's just a little bit to do some smoothing. What I want to do is bring that out a bit. It's looking better. Yeah, there's no real anything going on here. I'm just going at it. Yeah, cool. Loving this. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Nice. Yeah, that's looking good. All right. Let me bring in a bit of a... Got so many different kinds of reds here. I'll bring in something that's a bit... This canvas is still a bit wet. But all good. All good. Nice. Very cool. A little bit of right into there. Actually, let's highlight that with some. And I really love this part of it too, just filling in the shapes and really making them pop out a bit more. Bring in some of that. That green. I love pastels. They're so much fun. Your hands get so dirty. I love it. I never liked getting dirty as a kid, but I really, really loved getting dirty hands when I was painting. I remember when I first started really getting into colour as a kid, pastels of, it's like, you know, you just find that one thing that you really. Yeah, that's looking really, really cool. Very, very happy with this so far. I'm going to put a little bit of blue in this little planetoid thing. Are you recording? Great, okay, so I just lost. Alright, yeah, so it's just, you know, sometimes getting through a day is enough as well. Sometimes just, if you're not feeling the best, just get through it. Sometimes that's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything except just make it through a day. Because sometimes at the end of the day or the next day, everything turns out fine. I've really learned that lesson recently too, is that, you know, despite all the struggles and the challenges of every day-to-day, just make it through. Just hang on. And sometimes just those, what you need to hear is a day away, or what you need to see or experience is right behind the corner. So, you know, stick with it. Awesome. Alright, that's looking dope. Alright. So, almost done. The last thing that I really love to do with my paintings, and it's kind of my signature move, is I love to use ink on my paintings. And I've got metallic inks, so I've got gold, silver and bronze. And I remember when I bought these colours, I bought this silver because I really wanted to do some silver, and I'm feeling gold for this. Is what I'm feeling. Gold is one of my signature colours when it comes to finishing a painting. I might just shake both of the colours up a bit, and because with ink the pigment sinks to the bottom, and you can really, there we go, you can hear that rattle. There's like a little ball bearing in there. That helps to spread the pigment out. Oh. Silver, gold. Silver, gold. Let's see. Maybe I'll use a combination. Let's just go with what I'm feeling. I think I'm going to use gold still. I'm not feeling silver. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm getting gold ink in a tray. I've got a sponge and we're going to start applying it. Just in patches. Now, when I first started using gold, it was a bit apprehensive, but I knew it was something that I had to do because I used to have such a attachment to gold, which was negative, and I wanted to start really bringing in positive things into my life, and I knew that gold was going to help me do that. And I, found out what those positive things were, and they just happened to be attached to the color gold. So I started implementing gold more in a lot of the stuff that I was creating, and now it's become like a signature color to what I do, and I really, really love gold. Gold is fantastic. Some of my clients will tell you otherwise. Oh, look at that. Very cool. Something about sponging too that I really, really love. I guess it's because it's like working with a natural, something from nature. I really love it. What I like to do is kind of find those darker kind of areas and fill them in with the gold a bit, because it's contrasting. How's that going? It's looking alright. Nice. Alright, awesome. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright. I didn't use the white. Oh well. Whatever. Is there anything else? Should sign it. Last but not least, there we go. Nice. Done.